Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 979 of our daily content grind, and today we have to address some fairly unfortunate rumors that have been spreading around on socials, and now some news sites for Transformers is starting to report it. So according to sources, Earthspark will be getting cancelled after its second season and replaced with a brand new Transformers series. This is really unfortunate to hear. Now, keep in mind, everything here is with a grain of salt. Nothing from Nickelodeon, Paramount, or Hasbro has actually confirmed this, nor have anyone on staff for the cartoon actually confirmed this. So, this is all with a grain of salt. This is all just wild rumor, and we don't know exactly how true this is just yet. But no, it is unfortunate if it is true. We're going to explore it as if it is true, by the way. And we're going to try and track down exactly what went wrong with this series, if this really is the result. So, just to get this out of the way, the original source for this information is one Proto Man. Now, Proto has been in the fandom a long time. He is one of the whales of the fandom. I've seen his collection. I have sold him things for his collection. It's absolutely gigantic. So he's one of those that have been around and so connected through TFCon and just through just getting to know people in the industry for so many years. He's got connections. He knows the people who work on this stuff. So if it's coming from him, he's usually correct. So in this situation, according to him, his someone working on the next Transformers series, he's in contact with someone who is working on the next Transformer series, and spoiler, it's not Earthspark. Ratings were bad. Toys have had a very, soft distribution restocking. So I'm sorry if it's small on my screen too. I'm sorry, I had to get the whole thing in there somehow. So what that means is that the toys have had a real hard problem turning over. So typically, you actually wouldn't get just one box of a particular wave of toys. You would hope that sells through and you order another box of that wave. That didn't really happen with Earthspark. I'm sure it's true for everyone out there too, at least most of you. Earthspark toys just do not move as fast as other toy lines. And even in my area, Generation stuff doesn't really move through that fast. But it certainly moves faster than Earthspark. I've gone to my local Walmarts and Targets, and I see the same Tacticons, I see the same one-step changers. They rarely get restocks compared to Generations, where, like every couple months I can expect something new. But I can see entire toy lines just kind of like flood in and out of store in the time Earthspark is just still kind of sitting there and hasn't really seemed to sell much of anything. So I can actually see how that part is true. Rating-wise, I don't pay attention all that much. In my mind, it didn't really do, judging from the feedback I've seen and the discussion about the series, it didn't seem like it was doing any worse to me than, say, RID 2015 or Cyberverse. It seemed to be kind of on par as far as just, buzz goes. And really, the buzz I always heard about the show tended to be better than the previous examples because it is a well-written show. And it's one of the first shows in a long time where Transformers seem to show a full-on genuine effort. It's not, not to say there wasn't effort in RID 15 or Cyberverse, but they weren't Transformers Prime or animated levels. Give me that. Earthspark felt like the first time they tried to get that far again. So, I do kind of want to speculate this out. But before we get into speculation as to why this show really got canceled or what really is at fault, we're going to flat out just say this here. It ain't Nightshade. It ain't Nightshade. And I bring this up because some news outlets, I'm not going to name names because it was several of them, brought up the backlash the character got from conservative media when they found out that a kid's cartoon had a non-binary character involved. I'm going to put it out there right now. If you're here to celebrate the fact this show is getting canceled because of a character like Nightshade, don't bother. Just leave. This ain't your neighborhood. So, and if you're going to if you're going to leave something in the comments about the show, about the show dying because it's woke, don't even bother. This ain't your neighborhood. Turn and walk away. Understand the comment will be deleted. You will be banned from my comment section, and I will consider my channel safer. I'll consider my community safer for not having such bigoted ideals in it. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you're here to spread prejudice that has no basis in reality, you're just being told to hate it, don't bother. Leave. This ain't your neighborhood. Get out. So, just so we're clear there, it ain't Nightshade. Because really, when we examine that, we look back on it, it's really only loud for like 2 days. And then, like most things that the hate mongers churn up for you to continue to hate, because that's the only way their ratings work anymore, is by continuously coming up with more things to baselessly hate. So, they moved on. In about a couple days, all the noise and vitriol amounted to absolutely no impact, because they just got bored and went on to something else. And that's how it always works. They never leave an impact. They just make noise and ruin the fun for everybody else. That's their entire purpose. That's the entirety of what they accomplish. So it ain't Nightshade. It ain't Nightshade. So what was it? I don't think it's the show. I don't think it's the show itself, because I think the show itself does a lot of things really, really well. I think they went really strong with the casting. There's a lot of really talented voice actors on there. They made some really cool choices for the characters. We got Alan Tudyk as Optimus Prime, and it works. It works as like dad-core Optimus Prime. Like, it actually is a fun Optimus. The kid cast is really well done. You've got, someone who's becoming one of my favorites, Zeno Robinson. He's doing great as Thrash. All of the Terrans, I think, had really good voice casting. Everyone, like, you got Steve Bloom as Starscream again. Of course, the casting was good. So, I don't think it was that. It's very well performed. I've heard criticism about the animation, but honestly, I think it looks good. I don't really have an issue with it. If you want to say it looks bad to you, I'll say, well, that's a style choice, because on a technical level, no, it's not bad. You're free to dislike it, but acknowledge that it's because of an aesthetic choice, not because of an overall quality. There are certain, like, foods and sodas that I don't like. Like, I will admit, an eggplant parmesan looks absolutely beautiful on a plate, but it's disgusting to me, right? So, things like that. Let's not get into that. More importantly, I think the show did what Transformers desperately needed. I think it was desperately needing good new ideas. Setting the show after the war is a very simple but new idea, led to some interesting possibilities. Having Transformers born of Earth, who consider Earth their natural home. That's different. That leads to some new possibilities. Having a strong family dynamic is also a really good story choice. More so than, like, the kids aren't just, the kids aren't just the tag-alongs. They actually do feel like family, which is the goal, and it's done really, really well. Also, the kids actually are really good characters, even the younger one, Mo. They feel like they fit in with the Transformers. They don't feel like tag-alongs. They don't feel like they are holding them back or just there for the Decepticons to capture for tension for that episode. They actually feel like they belong out there, which is, again, a really good job by the writers. All of that, I think, works. All of that, I think, really works. It does make me wonder if leading into season 2, this might be the reason for the change in direction. Whether that new idea, that new philosophy that went into this show actually may have backfired a bit, because we also have the new Decepticons, in the series that in season 1 showed some interesting depth to them, because they were willing to help the Autobots at times. We had Autobots and Decepticons who were friends with each other. We had Tarantulas, who didn't really want any part of any war or side anymore. He just wanted to live a normal Earth life. Things like that I think show a lot of different opportunities. But when we see the trailer for Season 2, the Decepticons are just back to being this loosely organized army under Starscream with evil intention, which is really disappointing. It's back to shard hunting, which we've seen multiple times already, and I really wish they had avoided something like that. And we're back to just status quo Decepticons. That's kind of disappointing. But if Season 1 wasn't doing well and they kind of blame the new direction or new ideas, that might actually be a reason why Season 2 kind of feels like it's going toward a safer direction. Which would be unfortunate if that's the truth, but I will withhold judgment until June, when the first part of the new season drops. We'll be reviewing it the same way I was reviewing it before, because I absolutely love the show and I do want to give it attention. So that said, the speculation right now is that if it gets canceled after Season 2, then it's still going to get, supposedly, a full 26-episode season. So let's get this off the bat right now. The show itself isn't getting cut short. It isn't considered a failure. It's one of those situations where I really hope that the creators found out about the cancellation in time for the final episodes to wrap up the show properly. Went through that with the Owl House. Don't want to go through that again. But a 52-episode count is not a bad thing. That gives it as many episodes as the original Beast Wars series. Gives it more episodes than Beast Machines. Gives it more episodes than, a lot of series. The number is comparable to anything from the Unicron trilogy. It's a little bit less than Transformers Prime, but it's more than Transformers Animated. So as far as just like a full-length series, they're gonna nail that. As long as Season 2 didn't get cut short for any reason, we're getting a full-fledged series out of this at the very least, which is at least a nice thing to be able to say. And really, at 52 episodes, that's a pretty standard run, especially for a cartoon. It's very rare. When you look back at, especially a lot of Saturday morning stuff from the 90s and 2000s, 52 episodes was the mark to hit. Once you were done with that, you were pretty much done. You're pretty much done after that. So getting canceled after Season 2 might be unfortunate, but it also might be the natural endpoint. We're so used to Hasbro doing 3-year arcs for their cartoon series. Maybe this was meant to be a 2-year. Maybe it wasn't a cancellation. Maybe it wasn't a full cancellation. Maybe this really was a natural endpoint. We won't know until more people speak out, or until we get to see the end of the series and judge for ourselves. So what do we actually lay the blame on? Okay, so they cited poor ratings and poor toy sales, essentially. So let's actually dig a little bit into see what actually went on there. So for starters, we're going to blame marketing for this. And I don't mean the ones on screen right here. We've talked about this. The people on these streams really don't have a say in what they're allowed to talk about. It's the higher-ups in charge of the marketing at Hasbro that tells them what's okay and what's not. But we do know, and it's been a common criticism with the fan streams, they never touch on Earthspark product. Not a once do they actually build up any kind of hype. Most Earthspark stuff we discover when retailers start getting the images in and they start leaking to news sites. That's pretty much what it is. Or every now and then, maybe a factory leak gives us a photo for the first time. But even factory leakers don't really focus on showing off these toys. But ever since, when the show was first announced, I can remember a press push for it, and then literally nothing ever since. Maybe, a press release when they're doing Season 2, or when they're doing, Season 1B and Season 1C, or however they name the broken up season. That's it. They don't put any all this hype machine stuff, and they don't put any of it into the cartoon. Remember, the cartoon used to be the main part of the franchise that we always pushed, and now we're just kind of ignoring it. So I blame this on marketing. If this show and this toy line didn't work, I blame it on the marketing. I also blame it on the quality of the toy. We've talked about this many times. The Earthspark toy line kind of sucks. The deluxes are pretty good. The deluxes are actually fine. But you can definitely tell where they are cheaper and do not have nearly as much attention or effort put into them as the Generations lines. And that is by design, because they don't want the Earthspark toy line to eat into the sales of the larger, more expensive toys. So they want to keep those at a lower price point so they have more product at more price points for kids to buy. But the toys suck. You're doing the same one-step changers you've been doing for like a decade now. Stop. It's exhausting. They're boring now. Stop making them. You do dumb things like Tacticons. Okay, transforming plastic finger puppets for like $6 each. No. They're dumb. They're dumb. I don't think I've... It's like the slowest selling thing I've seen from any of these things. You know, and then like the Warrior class toys, and like they're just kind of screaming like, I can't even get a set of the Maltobots that actually looks correct because no one's in scale. There's no Voyager class for me to get a larger character like Hashtag. You know? It's terrible. It's a genuinely terrible effort at a toy line. And no wonder. Here's the thing. You think the standard method of this is you make a cool looking show and kids are going to want to buy the toys from it. But the opposite works too. If the toys on the shelf look boring, if they don't look cool, kids aren't going to buy them off the shelf. And they're not going to be interested in the show they're from. I can remember growing up and so many of the shows I tracked down and tried to watch were because I saw the action figures in a store shelf and go, that's really cool. I want to see what that's from. I do that now. It's why I'm hooked on Gal Gaigar and have been for like a decade. Because that show, someone showed me the robots. They looked really cool. I wanted to see what they're from. It's mutual. It's symbiotic. You know, when one succeeds, the other succeeds. So if you are trashing the toy line because you're not promoting it and you're making crap toys, of course the cartoon's going to suffer. But what about on the cartoon side? Oh, you can fail that one as well. So I did a little bit of digging. I didn't know what times that Earthspark actually aired on Nickelodeon. So you'll be surprised when I find out that, so new episodes in June rolled out 1 p.m. on Monday. And I saw this time come up several times because the time slot has been jumping around for Earthspark, which, by the way, great sign of a TV network really wanting your show to do well. Jumping the times around the slots randomly. That's always a great sign. It's always a great sign. But the problem with that is 1 p.m. on a Monday. Kids are in school. Kids are still in school at 1 p.m. I also saw 8 a.m. being floated around as another potential, as another time slot that it filled at one time. That's when grade school begins. That's when most elementary schools begin their day. How do you expect a show to have good ratings when you're putting them at a time when the kids aren't at home to watch them? Of course it's going to tank. The only time slot, I did see a 3:30 p.m. time slot, which is better. It's better. But then, yeah, like most of the times I saw, it just made no sense. And then there's the fact that Paramount Plus ain't exactly Amazon Prime, and it ain't exactly Netflix. It is a much, much lower user base. So to actually get a number of ratings, a number of watchers that would actually succeed on a streaming platform, that's small, very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. So that is also not a big surprise to me. So it just seems like, I think they just picked the wrong partner for this. And the fun of this is that ultimately, this all kind of lands on this guy. So Chris Cox took over Hasbro as the CEO in 2022, and this show was not started. Like the production of the show did not start under his tenure, but it did launch, and all of the marketing and everything after that. That was all him. And I know a lot of directions of Hasbro haven't made a lot of sense since he took over. I know a lot of people upset with some of the decisions that Hasbro in general has made since this guy took over. But this is the first Transformers series that launched entirely under his watch, and this is the result. This don't look good for him. This don't look good for him at all. So there's where I'm putting your blame. I'm putting it on this guy. I'm putting it on Nickelodeon for giving terrible times to Earthspark, and I'm blaming the Hasbro toy team for cheaping out on the toy line, and I am blaming I am blaming the marketing department for putting zero effort whatsoever into the franchise. So there you go. There you go. It's a litany of reasons. It's a big convoluted combination of things that are leading to this outcome. Like I said, I don't think it's necessarily for the worst, because it still looks like it's going to reach a full series length. But potentially, these series, when they go well, could potentially go on for years and years. And this is genuinely the best, genuinely one of the best Transformers shows I've seen. I will absolutely say the best in the last 10 years. So you know what? This is a loss. This is a big loss, and I really wish more people had given the show a chance. I don't blame you on the toys, but really, show should have been given more of a chance. But as we said at the top, this is all with a grain of salt, because this is all rumor. We don't have anything official announcement yet. So hold on. Watch the news roundups on Mondays. If we got updates, I'll let you know there. Not great news, but you know what? We'll see how it goes. So until then, thank you everyone for watching. I will see you next time.